Welcome to DITL, where we dig into a day in the life of the most interesting people. I'm your host, Paige Port, and today I'm sitting down with science journalist, New York Times bestselling author, host of the Genius Life podcast, and filmmaker, Max Lugavere.
What's going on?
Max, welcome to DITL.
Thanks for having me. This is so cool, so fun.
You've become an incredible voice across, so many different topics in health and wellness. I would say, the focus of DITL really is walking the walk. And so I'd love for you to walk us through, that piece and, going through a day in your life. I always like to start with what time do you wake up and how do you get your morning started?
But yeah, so I wake up at around 8 a.m. generally, and I try my best not to check my phone right away, although I fail miserably at that most days. Get out of my bed, I open up my blinds to allow, the light in. I open my door. Always when I open my bedroom door, my cat is waiting for me right there, and she leaps into bed with me. And I always, every morning, spend at least a half an hour cuddling my cat.
That's incredible.
She's a very cuddly, affectionate cat.
It feels like a very grounding moment and way to start your day.
Oh yeah, she's so excited to see me every morning, and she just leaps into bed with me. And just the amount of face smushing and kisses that I get from her, it's just insane. She's like a puppy. My cat is like a puppy. I used to let her sleep in bed with me, and it's very sad, but I had to kick her out because she was like waking me up almost every night at like 5 a.m.
The 8 sleep was reporting some problems.
Yeah. Yeah. So now I don't feel bad about it. Cats are nocturnal. So I keep her out of my room when I go to sleep. And it's great because, she doesn't understand like that I'm the one who locks her out. Poor baby, But then I open the door and she like leaps in. It's great.
It's a nice morning ritual.
Yeah.
And what does the workout look like? I've listened to you on a ton of podcasts, and I know that it's, the workout and the food and everything like that is a huge part of your day and your habits, and a lot of like the reason to why, and how this entire brand exists today.
Well, I am a aspiring closet bodybuilder of sorts. I just really
I love that.
I've always been passionate about so many things, music, creativity. Like one of the things that I've definitely always been passionate about is the science of bodybuilding. Not necessarily like being a bodybuilder or like going to shows and all that sort of fanfare, but the applied science of bodybuilding to me has been always extremely interesting. And what that essentially entails is, how to train in a way that's evidence-based, that maximizes what's called muscle hypertrophy or like muscle growth. And so, yeah, I like reading the science of, hypertrophy and exercise performance and physiology and all that stuff. And so I try to like apply in the gym what it is that I'm reading about. So, a lot of my workouts center around resistance training. I love, hitting the weights like really hard and kind of calibrating my diet around optimizing that effort, so like hitting a protein target every day. And
as an aspiring bodybuilder, what are some of the just like movements and things that you're doing in the gym?
I start my workouts with like the big compound movements. So for example, bench press, pull-ups, pull-downs. I'm a big fan of chest supported rows. So like, using a machine doing rows. And then you kind of move on to like isolation stuff. But what's really important is that to stimulate adaptation, which is the whole point of exercise, you can go to the gym and any exercise that you do is better than nothing, right? But to actually stimulate muscle adaptation, i.e. growth, muscle growth or an increase in strength, you have to go close to, if not to failure, on a fairly consistent basis. You want to generally lift through a full range of motion, but now there's a buzzing topic in the fitness space called stretch, it's referred to as stretch mediated hypertrophy. So essentially, when your muscle is in its most lengthened, stretched position, you seem to get a lot of bang for your buck in terms of muscle growth. For example, if you consider like a bicep curl, this is the concentric portion when you're actually lifting the weight. And a lot of people tend to put their focus on that, like how much weight could I lift? But by accentuating the eccentric, which is like the lowering of the weight, like really slowing down on that and emphasizing that stretched position, in every like muscle group, whether you're doing your glutes or your quads or whatever, like emphasizing that lengthened position, there's a lot of like muscle gain to be reaped.
What's the first thing you're doing? What are you putting in your body? Because at this point, it doesn't sound like you've actually eaten anything. You've had
Yeah.
electrolytes and black coffee.
Yeah, no, I've
And
eaten.
okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
let's go back. What have you eaten to get into before you hit the gym?
Well, I used to do fasted workouts, but I have seen the value of, eating some carbs, having some carbs in the tank, pre-workout. And I definitely want to eat protein soon after I wake up. I used to think that intermittent fasting was the way to go, and that the longer I could delay my first meal of the day, the better, I would get some kind of like, health brownie point for that. Um, but I no longer believe that to be the case. I think getting a nice hefty bolus of protein, like a big protein meal soon after you wake up, is important, because you want to halt that overnight fasting process. And overnight, you know, essentially what begins to occur is muscle protein breakdown. And so you want to put a halt to that. You want to stimulate muscle protein synthesis. And the way to do that is either with a workout or with protein. The timing of your protein intake is secondary to making sure that you're hitting your protein target over the course of the day. How you do it, that's ultimately up to you.
What else are you doing to improve your, cognitive brain health on a daily or weekly basis?
Yeah, I mean, exercise plays a big part of it. I think eating the way that I eat plays a big part of it. Making sure that I'm eating a nutrient dense diet. I eat a lot of red meat. I eat a lot of berries. I eat a lot of avocados and things like that, which we know are really supportive of good brain health. Dark leafy greens, of course. Fatty fish. I take my fish oil supplement regularly. I try to stay socially connected, which we know is really important for good cognitive health. I try to challenge my brain. We know that this helps to build what's called a cognitive reserve. Even if it's like breaking my routine and like, trying different restaurants, that does something, like if you compare that to somebody who's just eating the same meal every day at home over and over again, night after night, even something like going out to eat or trying a different restaurant or, cooking something a little bit differently. It's a way to challenge your brain and to break up the routine.
What do you do to keep your stress low?
I am not somebody who's ever been all that stressed. I'm not prone to neuroticism. I mean, I could be neurotic about certain things, but I'm generally like a pretty chill person. I've been the kind of person that people have always asked, like, are you high? And I'm not, like people have always like, pegged me as like a stoner or something, but I just try to like, I keep my friends close, my family close. I exercise regularly. I have an amazing cat.
You mentioned that you take fish oil pills.
Yeah.
What other supplements are you taking on a daily basis?
I love fish oil. I love a supplement called astaxanthin, which is really good for skin health and appearance, eye health, brain health. It's a carotenoid naturally found in salmon. It's what gives salmon its red color, but it's one of the most powerful antioxidants found in nature. Really great at protecting your cell membranes from free radical damage. It's really good at protecting your mitochondria, which are really important for energy creation. So I've been taking astaxanthin for the past 15 years or so. Great company called AX3, which I get it from. I take magnesium, which I find can potentially, it helps with like migraines and stuff, really good for sleep and mood. About 50% of Americans don't consume enough magnesium on a daily basis. It's really important. So I take that.
Any skincare habits?
Collagen. There's good evidence on collagen being good for skin, and I take that fairly regularly. Collagen is one of these supplements that's great to have in the house, because if I'm eating, like, for example, any kind of soup, you just dump a scoop or two of collagen into it. It has no flavor. And suddenly you're eating this like collagen-rich soup, like.
I never ever would have thought to do that.
Yeah, like
that's a great tip.
I get Thai takeout all the time. I get like this tom kha soup. As soon as I sit down to eat it, I put a scoop of collagen in it. It dissolves. You don't have to stir it. It like literally dissolves super easily. Has no flavor. Any kind of soup, just throw some collagen into it.
If you're gonna indulge, what are you indulging in?
I'll drink occasionally. I don't drink that much, but like, I'll indulge in like some good wine or food-wise pizza.
Do you have a favorite in LA?
I mean, people are going to laugh at me because my favorite pizza is still like a kind of like a health. It's like a diet culture pizza, but like I think Goop does a good job. Goop Kitchen does a good job with like a gluten-free pizza. Pisana also has a good gluten-free pizza. Great White, 10 out of 10 gluten-free pizza. So I tend to do, I'm not celiac, but I tend to like, eat. It's just like it's like guardrails to have in place that keep me from like, binging on the bread basket. And
I don't know the gluten-free pizza situation in LA. I go just straight regular pizza. So I'm going to have to try these out.
oh, here's a gluten-free pro tip. Have you had Pop's Bagels?
I am very good friends with the owner of Pop's Bagels
You
and
are?
love Pop's Bagels.
They're gluten-free bagels, best I've ever had. That's
Zach, you have a huge fan over here.
Yeah, they're 10 out of 10.
All right, we'll get you some
You'll get me hooked up?
gluten-free bagels
Damn,
for
I love
take
it.
homes.
I love it.
Take and bakes.